Welcome Duelists, Ojama Blue here, introducing our first entry to Casual Corner. Deck profiles aimed for the casual player who want to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Without paying full price of admission. For our show today, we bring to you Noble Knights. Let us begin. First things first, let's start off with the kind of decks that are eligible for Casual Corner. Realistically, any archetype or deck can be considered for it, however, they must fall under two specific rules. One, the total cost of the deck, including main and extra, must be within a $120 budget. Second, the cost per card must be at or below the $15 marker, so you won't find cards like Pot of Desires, Dimensional Barrier, or Raigeki in Casual Corner deck profiles. This is to ensure that the deck is easy to purchase for any duelist of any age. With that out of the way, let's begin with a little bit of the Noble Knight background. It is an archetype that focuses a lot on equipping themselves with various versions of Excalibur, with most of the swords having the tap potential to re-equip themselves onto Noble Knights when they are destroyed. Noble Knight builds have always had a couple of avenues of variation, whether it was more utilizing the entirety of the archetype, or by rushing the king as fastable in a turbo style deck. The variation of this deck in particular is a bit of both, so to speak. With the introduction of kaijus and their ability to tribute away monsters without restriction, it means that making the biggest, strongest king is no longer as viable as it was before, nor is it the best go-to play. So at times it's better to leave a couple of Noble Knights onto the field to ensure that you always have a frontline soldier to fall back onto. So with that, let's get started on the deck profile. To start, I play 3 Noble Knights Arthurs. While being a normal vanilla monster may seem somewhat unattractive, it does prove to be a key piece in a couple of Noble Knight plays involving Lady of the Lake, as well as a field spell that we'll kind of touch on later. So I play 3 of him. Next up, I play 3 Medrats. Medrat is a main monster of the deck, since as long as he is equipped with a Noble Arms and is the sole monster on your field, you can special summon any Noble Knight monster from your deck, opening up most of the archetype's plays, and is also the fastest way to get into your king. Next, I play 2 Noble Knight Boars. Noble Knight Boars, when he is equipped with a Noble Arms card, he can search for basically any Noble Arms card. So he's a very valuable combo extender for your deck. And because he is the monster that you actually summon off Medrat's effect, it is the quickest way to herald the king onto the field. Next up, I play 2 Galwains. He is a free special summon as long as you control a normal light monster. This benefits off the play with like Medrat or Boars because actually when they are not equipped with a Noble Arms card, they are considered normal monsters. So it gives you easy access to a rank 4 XYZ pool, and with the amount of potential normals that you have in the deck, there's validity in playing 2. Moving on, we have 1 Lancelot. Once again, playing with the potential of normal monsters in your lineup, he can special summon himself as well as retrieve any Noble Arms card at the cost of tributing a Noble Knight onto the field, as well as himself. He can be a bit cloggy, and he has a restriction in which you can only play 1 anyway, so playing him at 1 is ideal. I also play 1 Noble Knight Ector. He's a very easy way to bring out a level 5 Noble Knight onto the field, especially during late game as a form of recovery, as well as a way to extend my field. In fact, that any XYZ or Synchro Summon with this card is immune to negation as well as card effects upon summon. It can catch people off guard, and it makes him a very safe card in his own right. To finish off the Noble Knights, we play 1 Bedrin and 1 Brothers. Bedrin is a Foolish Burial for Noble Arms upon summon, It's used to fill your card economy. And for brothers, he is a minor Daigusta Emerald to recur needed resources and gives you a draw at the same time. So both of them are very important, and also, once again, because they are summonable by and draws, it gives you easy access to a lot of scenarios that you may run into. To round off the monsters and the final support of the deck, I bring you 3 Merlin, 2 Guinevere of Noble Arms, and 2 Lady of the Lake. Merlin is a natural 3 of in the deck since he special summons any noble knight from the deck, adding to consistency, and provides support in the graveyard by banishing himself to either Synchro Summon or XYZ Summon during either player's turn. This can vary between pushing for more damage or by dodging certain card effects as well. Guinevere is another Noble Arms name and grants support for any noble knight based upon their attribute. When equipped to a dark monster, Guinevere can destroy any monster by battle without even going into battle damage calculations, And when equipped to a light monster, it acts as additional protection, because if the noble knight monster would be destroyed, you can destroy her instead. And the fact that it could equip itself to a noble knight from the hand or graveyard once per turn adds more benefit to your utility. Lady of the Lake is the tuner of the deck. She can special summon herself as long as there is another level 5 Noble Knight onto the field. And when she is normal summoned, she can also special summon a normal Noble Knight monster from the graveyard, which is why you play Noble Knight Arthur to begin with. Unfortunately, she banishes herself when she is used for a Synchro Summon, which kind of limits her options. But the Synchro Summon that we do bring out usually provides additional cards as well as protection, so it makes it worthwhile to play. With that rounds off the monsters. And of course, no Noble Knight deck is complete without the Noble Arms arsenal to back it up. For that, I play 2 Calburn for the attack boost and the life point gains, 2 Noble Arms Destiny for protection, 2 Noble Arms Excalibur for anti-targeting, as well as being able to XYZ summon on your turn by banishing itself, 2 Gallatin for big, humongous attack boosts for your monsters, 1 Arfugitor to get rid of back row, and finally 1 Celestial Sword Idiotos. Now, let's kind of address the elephant in the room, so to speak. The reason why I chose Idiotos out of all the other Noble Arms card to add to the lineup is because, while also she's considered Noble Arms, it's because most of the other Noble Arms have a restriction in which you can only have 1 on the field. So that kind of leaves you open to certain things, and I don't believe adding another Arfugitor to the deck was beneficial in a way. So it's not as vital as it is for pushing for more damage, which Idiotos does against a monster 500 attack boost, which is very important in its own right. With Noble Arms, this makes it up to 10, and if you count Guinevere, that makes it 12. So very rarely will you open with no Noble Arms to play with. So I feel that 10 spells is a good number to begin with. Next, I play 2 Last Chapter of the Noble Knights. It allows you to recover your field if it gets destroyed, and since it brings back any Noble Knight monster, this works really well with Noble Knight Synchro monsters, or with Madrat as well, since he retains his ability to special summon from the deck to restart your field as well. For the rest of the support, I put in 1 Dark Hole for board clearing, 1 Reinforcements of the Army to search out any Noble Knights, 1 Foolish Burial to send either Lancelot, Hector, or even Lady Lake to the graveyard in order to use them later. It kind of depends on your opening hand, and it makes it easy to adjust to the situation. And for the final 3 spells I play in the deck. I play 1 Noble Knights of the Round Table, 1 Mausoleum of White, and 1 Terraforming. The Noble Knights of the Round Table sends Noble Knights to the graveyard, and it's important to send ones that you wouldn't want to draw in the first place, kind of like Arthur, Lancelot, or Hector. And instead, you put them to the graveyard, which is deemably more useful for their place. The other effects are a bit hard to use, that it requires a number of certain Noble Knights to do so, but if you can resolve them, it makes for great extensions for your board. I actually like playing Mausoleum of White because it provides a vital normal summon of Lady of the Lake. This extends your synchro plays, and also because you can target a monster and send a normal monster to the graveyard, you could send King Arthur to the graveyard as well. So it gives a marginal boost of power, and it also, once again, dumps it to the graveyard where you wouldn't want to draw into them in the first place. Terraforming is there to search out whichever field spell you require for the situation. The final card I play is Solemn Scolding. Noble Knights, it doesn't give you enough room to play a lot of traps because you normally filled your field with spell cards and monsters, obviously. So I feel it's very important to play the Solemn Scolding because it is the best single trap card to stop any single card your opponent plays. The 3000 burn is a bit of a hefty price to pay, but since you gain life points off Caliburn, generally you wouldn't mind paying the costs for it as well. That'll be it for the main deck, and now let's go on to the extra deck. I played 2 High Lancelot. Though you could only control 1, his ability to equip himself with a Noble Arms directly upon summon is very flexible. And being able to add any Noble Knight or Noble Arm card after destroying a monster by battle only increases his versatility. Next, the non-Noble Knight Synchro monsters I play is a Scarred Warrior and Stardust Charge Warrior. Scarred Warrior adds battle protection since they can only target him for attacks as the only warrior. And Stardust Charge Warrior adds a draw when you Synchro Summon. Since both are warriors, they are also viable targets for Noble Arms cards, except for Excalibur, which can only be equipped to Noble Knights. So even equipping Gallatin, which adds 1000 attack to Charge Warrior, makes it a 3000 attacker that can hit every single special summon monster your opponent controls. And that could be very vital in coming into battles. The XC lineup consists of 2 King Arthurs and 2 of the other King Arthurs. Both of them are the main monsters of the deck, with the rank 5 being able to destroy any card onto the field. Sorry, let me move this over. And the rank 4 being able to destroy spells and traps on the field based on how many Noble Arms you control. Both abilities are extremely powerful in their own rights, though unfortunately they can only do so on your turn. So they don't add too much to disruption, so they need a lot of protection to do so. Luckily, there are other monsters and other card effects that allow them to stay onto the field, even so. The other rank 5 I play is Artifact Durandal. His ability to basically turn any effect into destroying one spell or trap card onto the field is very beneficial because normally you would only have Noble Arms cards onto the field anyway. So destroying that means that it'll just come right back onto your Noble Knight. It adds a lot of disruption also with the draw power in case your opponent searches a lot. So there's really no harm in playing it, but you have to control a king in order to make full use of it because you really want to protect the king. He is the most vital part of the deck. The rest of the rank 4 lineup includes 1 number 39 Utopia for battle negation, 1 Starleech Paladynamo to get over problematic monsters, 1 Gandiva for summon negation, 1 Excalibur for big attack boosters, 1 Abyss Dweller to stop graveyards, and finally 1 Castel for removal. And that pretty much wraps up the entire deck. Now, as for the cost of the deck, let's go over that. Altogether, at the lowest rarity of each card, the deck runs about $71 to $72, which is actually pretty inexpensive in its own right. The most expensive cards in the deck are core cards like Midrat, Merlin, and XYZ Kings, which even then, I feel it's very important and valuable even for a Casual Corner deck, as it means that the core cards of their decks are not revolved around expensive generic support, and it allows the duelists to focus more onto the archetypes themselves instead. With that wrapped up, that is all for now, duelists. Like, comment, subscribe for more upcoming videos, and more Casual Corner profiles in our lineup. Stay tuned, the fun is just getting started.